grateful you all took the time to celebrate, as is appropriate, the life and times of Edwin Lee. I tried to convince Ed to become the interim mayor, but see, he was smart enough. He figured that one out quickly. Of course, his wife said, we're moving to Hong Kong if that happens. So that didn't work out so well. But Ed is now more secure than the next interim mayor will be. His fate and future will be locked down for at least 5 years as this position warrants. I couldn't be more pleased and more enthusiastic about this reappointment of Ed, and I'm very grateful that President David Chu took the time to be here, and Supervisor Sophie Maxwell and Supervisor Ed Jew. Can you believe I mentioned Ed Jew? You know why? This is interesting. No, this is interesting because I was literally just reading up. I found a file on Ed Jew and was just reading. I'm cleaning up my files, and my gosh, I'm glad that episode's behind us. But I'm very pleased with the great work of, and we've been celebrating his work, of Eric and the work that he has done throughout our city. And we were just out in Sunset Solar celebrating Supervisor Maher's contribution. So I'm grateful you took the time to be here. And I don't know if any other supervisors are walking in or just made it. Is Carmen here? Oh, Carmen, you snuck in around, please. The best thing that happened because of Ed Jew was Carmen Chu. So you should be very appreciative of that. Gosh, see, good things come out of difficult crises. Very good things. So thank you all for being here, and I see a lot of department heads here, and I'm grateful. And I see a lot of commissioners that took the time to be here. I'm also thankful that you took the time. I think, you know, everything has been said about Ed over the years by pretty much everybody, but it's appropriate that I kind of recast in a new light some of his accomplishments. Look, I've had the privilege, I've been around here 16 years now. I was a member of the Parking and Traffic Commission and worked on the Board of Supervisors for 6.5, 7 years, and of course I've been here for about 7 years. So 15, 16 years of my life have been devoted to this city in a formal capacity at least, and I've had the privilege of working side by side with Ed all of those years in his different roles. And it's interesting, you know, when you go through the process of making change, and when you win an election, you promote change, as one should, and you try to exercise it. There's always someone who's top of the list. And it's an amazing thing because Ed is always on the top of the list for multiple roles. You think about, well, we've got an opening here, and boy, wouldn't Ed be perfect? And then you say, well, no, we got an opening here. Wouldn't he be better there? And we couldn't really figure it out this last round when I won my re-election, what the appropriate next step would be. And we realized that the best role was a role that he had just assigned, or was assigned to, and that was the role of actually managing all of those departments. People forget how powerful the city administrator is. If you read the charter, it's extraordinarily powerful position, and in many respects rivals that of the mayor's office. And so when you are mayor, it is critical to have a friend as the city administrator. Now that I'm leaving, I think he should exercise his full power. And, you know, really, so I'm reminding him of the charter. I'm like, Ed, no, whoever's in here, don't worry. You have the final say at DPW and elsewhere, and hiring and firing, et cetera. But he has become a friend over the years, not just someone I admire and respect. And it's just an amazing thing to see someone reach out across the political divide. And there really isn't a great political divide here. It is unbelievable, you know, how often we agree on things and how few times we disagree. But we try to go, you know, you think, you know, when you're all Democrats, you tend to, because you agree on so many things, you tend to get into personalities and process, which is the real divide, which is really, at the end of the day, pretty trivial. But even within that modest divide, Ed has done a remarkable job to transcend it and to build bridges and to reach out to folks. And people trust him. And I guess at the end of the day, that's the most important and valuable asset, that even if people disagree, they trust. And I don't think anyone once, privately, certainly not publicly, I've never heard anyone question the integrity of Ed and his capacity to call balls and strikes and to be judicious and thoughtful and to respect other people's points of view at the same time. So those are remarkable skills, and he's got it all. And so what a gift it is for me as one of my final acts, with just a few weeks left in this role, to have as a small part of, I don't reflect necessarily on legacy, but just a small part to say, you know what, hey, I actually appointed him to that second 5-year term, and so I'm looking forward to that. And I know Steve Cava is as well. Steve says if there's anyone that's going to pick up the phone when you're gone, it's going to be Ed that can give you a straight assessment of what's going on at City Hall. And I think a lot of you know I'm having a hard time leaving, because I care deeply about this city and what happens here. And so I couldn't be more enthusiastic about the ability to check in periodically and get the straight facts when Ed is continuing his term. So that's a long-winded introduction, and I thought before we officially do the swearing in, I'd turn it over to Ed, and he can add his thoughts and reflections on his new 5-year term as our city administrator.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. It's been wonderful to work with our mayor. He's obviously entrusted me with a lot of things, but I also want to let you all know working for the city and county of San Francisco is very, very special. And it's taken all my years of everything I learned from my mom to my family here to really muster up on a day-to-day basis the energy and the memories that it takes to actually do the best service in this city. And I want to thank all of you, my family, my friends, for being here, the supervisors here, because we've all worked very closely together on so many different things. But I also want to make sure I note that the mayor's been a motivator for me as well. Not only when he was the supervisor, but just all along. I've been very proud to see him not only progress, but also now becoming our Lieutenant Governor-elect. And congratulations, Mayor, very much. We're going to need your voice and your talent up there at the state as we struggle here. Having said that, I wanted to say that this city is incredibly, incredibly wonderful. And I work with 26,000 people who are very, very dedicated. I've learned that because in my early years, I didn't feel that good about the city. And some of you know my history. I spent a few years litigating against the city to try to make it right. And lo and behold, now 21 years later, there is a sense that the city is much more reflective of our communities, that we struggle to make sure we do that more and more. It's been definitely a goal of this administration to open up the doors, to keep them open, to involve and engage all the communities of San Francisco. And I want to make sure this city administrator's office leads all the other departments as best we can to continue doing that. That's a huge, not only a tradition, this city is changing so much, and we have to be on top of the game. We have to be just engaged with every one of the voices in the city and making sure that they enjoy all the benefits the city has. And this city has tremendous amount of benefit, not just by way of jobs, but also opportunity. That's the biggest thing here, is so many opportunities are derived from the great talent that we have in the leadership of the city. And so I take this opportunity to be not only serious, but one that is filled with an appreciation of what the city means to everyone, to make sure it is balanced, to make sure that it reflects all of our traditional and new evolving values to include everybody. And then just to make sure that this city works right. That's keeping it really simple. I know all my conversations with Steve Cava, with all the supervisors, with the mayor on a daily basis, all my department heads, how do we make this city work and work well and keep it working? And that's always been a challenge. It sounds easy and we keep it simple, but it's incredibly complicated when you know that every citizen wants input, many, many different views, both internal and external. and that we've got to keep our promises. There are many old promises to keep, many new ones, and that we're not just a local city. We are an international city. That is probably one of the most important highlights in my tenure here, is to understand how this city is so international. Everything that we do for ourselves and with other people is reflected in the new international city that we are. And the leadership is being looked at here more and more by other countries as to what they can try to do and what they can bring to their own citizenry as well as to their neighbors. Having said all that, this is a wonderful job. I do it with enthusiasm. I also want to thank supervisors and all the other department heads here today working with me, and the friends. We always need new friends and old friends to be with us. And I also want, of course, extend my personal thank you to not only Mayor, but to my mom, to my wife, and my family who's been here, and they've seen the sacrifices and been part of those sacrifices it takes to really help run this great city. Thank you for being here, and thank you very much.
All right. All right. By the way, Mom and family flew in from Seattle and New York today, so welcome and thank you. And get some sleep tonight. All right, Ed, you ready?
All right.
I'll say aye, you state your name, and then we'll just go through the usual routine. You've done this many, many times. Aye.
I, Edwin Lee,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
And during such time
And during such time
as I hold the position
as I hold the position
as City Administrator
as City Administrator
for the City and County of San Francisco.
for the City and County of San Francisco.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. I think there's some refreshments.
Yeah, right out.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.